Welcome to the Friday Game Night Pick'em Show here on Access WDUN.com. Bo Wilson alongside Jeff Hart, Caleb Hutchins, and Seth Chapman. What's up, fellas?
Not much.
Excuse me.
You okay?
The lights are back up.
The lights are back.
Yeah.
Who coughed?
That would be
me.
Bo.
Okay, see, because for those who don't know, I can't see you guys, so I didn't know which one of you was dying up there in Gainesville.
Well,
I couldn't tell, but
you look like you're very attentive.
I'm as attentive as I can be when looking at myself and then a blank black screen.
So do you feel like you're looking at us when you're looking into the camera, the phone?
I feel like I can see you in my
Yeah.
eyes, Bo.
We can see you too.
Caleb, I tell you what, for next week, I will send you a picture of myself, and then you can look at the picture.
That picture's going straight in the trash.
Okay, I just offering a different. I was
Caleb's
offering
like,
a different backdrop
pass.
for you, Caleb.
Caleb goes, pass.
Hard
Hard
pass.
pass.
I'm just offering another option for you. That's it.
Okay, week one of the playoffs.
I appreciate that.
Week one of the playoffs, some upset bids in the playoffs.
Yeah, we caught some heat for one of those.
Probably one. I don't know if there is a bigger one in our area, period, probably in the state, than Jefferson, who was ranked number one most of the season, falling in the first round of the 4A playoffs. That was shocking. Dawson County also kind of shocked some folks with the upset of number 6 Sandy Creek in the first round of the playoffs out of that brutal Region 5 3A.
Not so brutal.
Apparently not. But Dawson rolling with that one. But guys, Jefferson just hits me right in the forehead.
I don't think anybody saw that coming. I mean, you looked at Hateville. They came in. I mean, they were on a little bit of a streak, but they really didn't. They just didn't look like a team that would be able to beat Jefferson. They've been playing up. I mean, just a few years ago they were Double-A, so now they're at 4A. I just didn't see this as a game that they could win, even with a depleted Jefferson, who had a pretty healthy, full Malachi Starks back. But they had injuries so many other places. I guess it was just more than we actually thought that there really was. We speculated, they switched to the wishbone, Caleb, and we talked about offensive line issues, perhaps. There was just a lot going on with that Jefferson team that perhaps we just don't know or was never really revealed how deep the injury situation was at Jefferson. And I don't care what level you're playing at. If you don't have your star guys, it's hard to win when you play a pretty good team.
Well, I will admit, I don't know. I never got to see Jefferson in person this year. I watched a lot of their games on streams and things like that, and obviously the video highlights that Seth and our guys have been doing all year on them, and I was familiar with their roster. But this was a year where, just because of where I was and where they were, I was never able to catch one of their games in person. So I'm not going to try to speak to everything. I do know that watching that the second half of that game on stream, they were running a lot of wishbone, which is not something that I saw them run any of in 2020. I don't know. Maybe that's something they have been doing, sprinkled in throughout the year. I can't speak any more to that. I just know it was something they hadn't done in years past. But it just was a game that just didn't feel quite right. And then when Hateville got the ball and put a drive together there in the early fourth quarter, palms got sweaty, I think, a little bit. I think everybody started to look up and say, hey, wait a second, this game is still in the balance here, and Hateville was able to take advantage. And, hey, some of these upsets happen sometimes. It's really painful when it happens to a local team. But that's what happened. And I'm sure there's a lot of people in Jefferson scratching their heads this week trying to figure out what happened. Right. But, it's hard to explain. Sometimes you just get these.
Well, you've got so many injuries on the team, as Jeff alluded to a while ago. I mean, you looked at Malachi going down as, early in the season. He was out a few weeks. Max Aldridge steps in at quarterback. He plays, a game or two.
And
then he goes out. And I think the backup to the backup to the backup went out as well. So
yeah, which me and Jeff both had high hopes for Max.
Well, we were both at that Rabun County game. And although I think the thing that we took away from that game was how good Rabun was going to be, especially defensively. They shut Jefferson out in the second half. But when Jefferson got that ground game going with Malachi and Sammy and Jordan Perry and Caden Bailey and the whole crew, and then they brought in Max Aldridge at quarterback, and we both went, oh my gosh, they're even better with him in there. And that's the disappointing part because I think totally assembled, I'm not sure there's still a better team in 4A, but you got to have your pieces, there's no doubt. In that game you were watching streaming-wise, Caleb, I didn't get to see this. Apparently there was an interception that they went back on tape that Jefferson made, was called out, didn't count, and that would have clamped down on the final drive, and they would have won the game. So
I saw that play. Yeah, and I also, another thing too, Jeff, was on their final drive, they hit a big pass. Malachi did to Jordan Perry that got them down to about the Hapeville 23. It looked like they were going to be able to get down to close to field goal range, maybe try a game-winning field goal. And I think they had like 3 penalties in the next 4 plays that moved them all the way back to the 50 and said they had to try a Hail Mary that didn't really have too much of a shot.
They had well over 100 yards in penalties in that game when you look at the stats at the end. And, that's something that we've talked about all season.
And about 30 of them came on that last sequence too.
And Sammy Brown was not in the game,
no.
Who's been trying to heal up with a knee injury. And so, as we've talked earlier today about perfect storms, I guess that's just what happened.
Yeah.
It came together, and Hapeville Charter is moving on to the second round. Now, over in Dawsonville, a game that you got to watch, Jeff, the Tigers beating the Patriots.
Well, your Tigers.
Interestingly enough, of course, we have to say that I guess we were the motivating factor behind this.
Apparently so. Seth was there when we talked about the gaining the edge. Our little sort of kind of player of the week. We gave it to the Dawson County defense because they played a whale of a game. Look, they gave up 27 points, but 2 of those came on an 88-yard pass and a 51-yard scramble run that you just got to see to believe that the quarterback from
13 under of Sandy Creek's average, by the way.
Right. No, they really held them down. Look, they played a great game.
And Sandy Creek's defense giving up 18, they scored 36. So.
And one of them was a crazy fumble return. So, they still put up 30 points on them. Dawson was the better team. On that night, they were the better team. And I will tell you, based on the team.
It's that 5th place ranking that we put on them in Region 7-3, and that's been brought up a few times.
I think it was by design that y'all sent me out there so that I would take all of the flogging that I
Coach Maxwell
got.
has told me on the phone a couple times, you picked us 4th. You guys picked us 4th. So, hey, whatever. But it was a huge upset.
I can hear
here's what I got to say to him. You're welcome. Because we gave you the motivation to start putting this season together. So, we'll take bids for next year. If you're a team that's on the bubble and wants some help, you let us know. We'll pick you 5th.
If anybody in this room should be catching slack for that, it should be Bo for not picking his alma mater. He played for Dawson County and he didn't even pick him.
Pick him to win?
Right.
No, I didn't. Neither did anybody else.
Yeah.
Right, but none of us
I think you guys looked at that fact and were like, let's just send Seth out there.
Look, they shocked everybody, including, I'm sure, their coaching staff, the way they played because they put together the complete game.
Oh, they played great. That was the best. Look, they played. I was at the Cherokee Bluff game where they played, and they played a great game in that game and probably should have won that game.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not really surprised that they played that well. They have put it together in the last month or so. Look, they've got an insane road trip this week. There's no doubt, Pierce County. But I'm going to tell you, if they played like they played last week and the way they played in the last 2 or 3 weeks, they can win that game.
Well, let's start with Dawson and Pierce counties. We rolled down our pick'em part of the show today, and we're just going to talk about every classification that we have teams in, so we can start there since we'll segue into Dawson at Pierce County. Now, we have seen an area team play Pierce County earlier this year. It was Rabun County, who I believe won, 28-21?
They did.
In a game down there.
Well,
what's your research tell you, Jeff? I know you've been researching.
Well, it depends on if you just want like some just basic research, such as Dawson County is 3-8 all time in road playoff games, but 2-4 under Sid Maxwell. So they have 2 playoff wins on the road, in the last 7 years. So they've shown that they can go on the road and get this done. Here's the killer: 15-1. Pierce County is 15-1 in its last 16 home playoff games, going back to 2013. Wow. So the Rabun game aside, which was a regular season game, if you're going to compare Rabun to Dawson, I would say the defenses are equal. Rabun County offense is infinitesimally better than Dawson County's. Okay,
huge
sorry.
word alert.
Yeah.
Did you even say that right?
Infinitesimally.
That word
I'm not
made
sure.
me yawn.
I thought you were talking about something you had to go to the bathroom for.
Infinitesimally?
Something like that. There
Yeah,
you go.
okay, there you
There you go.
Seth, look it up, put it on the screen, and see if we said it right.
Yeah,
All right, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. So, but it's
So how about who are you picking?
A lot better. Well, who am I picking? Well, I just thought we would go down with you asked me for some stats. Dawson County has the lowest rated defense left in the field, but based on how they played in the last 8 weeks, they'd be 12th in 3A.
So who are you picking?
So who am I picking? I'm still getting to that. I would love to pick the Tigers. I really would love to pick the Tigers because I saw them last week.
Well,
I really thought Pierce County is they're almost unbeatable at home.
Do it.
Okay. So
Almost unbeatable at home.
Your pick is
almost isn't the same as who are you picking?
You know what? I'm going to go with.
This is about as hard as getting
Dawson County. I'm going to go with Dawson this week because I'm going to upsets. Upsets that we weren't expecting ruled the day in the first round. I'm going to go this way.
Drop the mic. Get out of here.
Ow.
So I'm gonna go with Dawson County this week.
That is an interesting pick. All right, so you said 50. I will go next. 15-1 at home. Is that what you're saying?
15-1 at home.
15-2. Go Tigers. Tigers beat Pierce County in an upset.
I guess it falls on me then to be the killjoy of the group. I'm going to take Pierce County.
The safe pick. You are down 5 games, so I'll give you one.
The safe pick. I'm down 5 games here. We don't know how many games we'll have left. I'm going to take the safe pick and go with Pierce County. That, by the way, that was Jeff. We asked you for stats. That was like a Gene Anderson stat report, wasn't it? We got all the way down to who got the.
It was a full halftime show.
At the end of the game.
It was a full halftime show. I got to use the bathroom and everything.
This pick'em show brought to you by in honor of Gene Anderson.
Yeah. Gene. Who you got, Sethro?
I got Dawson County.
Uh-oh.
I am not gonna make. I'm not gonna make the mistake I did last week. And I'm going Dawson County.
Wait a second.
I can't count this team out.
But here's the thing.
I can't count this team out.
Can we do this a second time? Because every time Seth picks because he's afraid of getting yelled at, he loses.
Yes, he did with North Hall.
Do I lose? Really?
Do you make picks based on whether you're going to get yelled at or not?
Sometimes, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
You can't play scared, Seth. You can't play
I
scared.
am scared, Caleb. I am scared. Those coaches are bigger than me, Caleb.
Okay, so
wow.
Those coaches and even some of those kids are bigger than me, Caleb.
3 Dawsons, 1 Pierce County for the second round. All right, let's stay at 3A and go over to the Bluff and Bear Nation. Hosting Appleton County, the Region 1 number 2 seed, Cherokee Bluff on Friday. Played a fantastic game, by the way. Jaquan Smith.
305 yards.
Count on him for a massive game, and he had a massive game. And just it was one of those that started slow. The first half was, it was a nail-biter of a first half, and then Jaquan just he got going. Sebastian was going. The defense was playing well. I
think they shut him out in the second half, didn't they?
Yeah, so Bluff is hosting Appleton County, and I think, 2 years ago, Jefferson hosted Appleton County when they were in 3A?
I think so.
Yeah. I'm going to start the picking here because I believe Bluff's going to continue their streak and pick Cherokee Bluff this week over Appleton County.
And that's it. You don't need any stats,
I'm just
nothing.
going with Bluff.
I tell you what, I'm going to go. Jaquan now leads 3A in rushing. He's up over 1,600 yards, which would put him in the top 4 or 5 in the entire state. But it's the defensive Bluff that has really impressed me coming down the stretch. what they did to North Hall when they had to make some stops. What they did to Dawson County in that game. I'm going to go with Bluff. I think right now they are really playing with a confidence that we're not seeing, that we haven't seen really. Last year they had a good season, but this year they're really playing with confidence.
Yeah, I got the chance to go over there and talk to Coach Jones, and what they continued to mention to me was that they like to play complimentary football. And boy, do they play complimentary football. Threat on the ground, threat in the air. I will not bet against this Cherokee Bluff team. I'm going with Bluff.
Yeah, I think this is a game Cherokee Bluff can win. I think it's going to, if they're going to win this game, it's going to have to be a lot more like the North Hall game than it was the GAC game. This is going to be a gut test.
Oh.
The running game is not always going to be there in this one. There are going to be times where Sebastian Irons is going to have to make plays, sometimes under pressure with his arm. And Cherokee Bluff's defense is going to have to make some stands with their backs against the wall. It's going to be a much better team than what they saw against GAC in the first round. And I am going to go against the grain again and take Applin County.
Wow.
Against the grain.
Can win. I think it's a close ball game. I think this is maybe a 28-24 type of game.
It's interesting. Will it be a close, low-scoring game or a high-scoring game from this standpoint? Appling is third in AAA in defense. Bluff is fourth. Appling is sixth in scoring. Bluff is second in scoring in 3A. So you got beast matchups, no matter who has the ball, all over the field, individual matchups, linebackers versus, trying to get to the running back and the quarterback, and you've got a guy like Marlon Jackson, who is a huge X factor. We haven't even really seen him with a breakout game yet. Maybe this is the game.
We haven't talked about Marley and Jackson enough. I feel like, Bo, and you've called a couple of two out of Cherokee Bluff's last three games, so you can comment on this more. But I think Marley and Jackson might be the reason that Cherokee Bluff won that region, and
could be,
because he has given them a big playability at receiver that I don't think we knew they were going to have coming in.
Well, I think you said it, the big play ability at receiver, and also the threat that he will make a big play to the opposing defense.
Well,
because now last
week
week against GAC, he went up and got some balls. And I'm telling you, he is an athlete and can change a situation for Bluff. I think that he's going to be huge on Friday for them as well. This offense of Cherokee Bluff is clicking. I know Applin County brings in all the stats with number 2 defense and all this kind of stuff, but I think it is at Bluff. For one, which is a huge factor for them, but 2, they are playing well right now, and I think they're going to roll into this.
And one other use of Jackson that they kind of use him as the speed guy on the edge in the run game. They'll run a jet sweep or they'll do like a little reverse to him, and he's broken off in every game that I've seen. He's broken off at least one 20+ yard run in that. So it gives them ability to kind of go left or right with him. If they put him in motion, that gives them another threat. And then you've got Jaquan pounding up the middle between the tackles, and Sebastian Irons has really improved his passing this year. He's at 62%. This is going to be one of the best games probably of the entire night, not just in this area, but maybe the entire state. This is going to be a just smashing football game. I'm excited. I get to go watch this one.
Flowery Branch at Perry. That's Flowery Branch with a incredible game-winning drive. David Bernard with a huge game just put the Falcons on his back after going down 28-27 in that game. They led that game, most of that game, actually all of that game, I think, until that standpoint or time of the game, 28-27. And then Flowery Branch turns around. They have to make a drive to at least get in field goal range. And David Bernard's facing a 4th down and 11 or 12. Not only does he run for 11, but he runs for 22 yards, picks the first down up, and they continue on. Ethan Fetterman making some big grabs on that drive. Branch gets out of Lakewood Stadium with that win last week. This week they have a road trip about 2.5, 3 hours down to Perry to face Region 4 number 1 seed. Caleb, your alma mater, going into the second round of the playoffs. What you got?
Yeah, first off, so happy to see David Renard put that drive together at the end of the game. If you want to talk about a quarterback who deserved to have that kind of moment in the state playoffs, David Renard is the first guy that would come to mind, maybe after Gunnar Stockton, at least in our area. The guy has just had a phenomenal career at Flowery Branch. You think all the way back to when he was a freshman having to come in for Elijah Gainey, who had gotten injured. Nobody really knew anything about him. He was small at the time. He's gotten bigger. He's gotten better, and he's now one of the best quarterbacks in 4A. And that was just a big-time drive. I mean, the scramble that you talked about, but then a couple of huge throws. Just really great for him to have that moment in the playoffs, because I feel like with a lot of the other great players we've had in North Georgia, David Renard sometimes gets a little bit lost in the mix. But you talk to coaches, I mean, I've talked to Heath Webb, Gene Cathcart, other head coaches around this area, and they'll all tell you they are huge David Renard fans. He is a outstanding quarterback. I'll tell you what, Perry is a really, really good team in 4A, but I don't know that they're invincible. They're coming into this one at 10-2. Flowery Branch is coming off the high of that win at Mays. I think they might have to take some early punches in this one from Perry. But I like Flowery Branch in this one on the road. I think they get the win here. I don't know how much farther it goes. It just depends on the matchup. But I think this is one they can win, and I'm going to take them to get the win.
Listen, I'm not sure that I could argue any of that. I'll just throw some numbers out at you. Perry has the leading passer in 4A, and Armour Gordon, 2,500 yards, 28 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. He's got 2 targets that have 50 catches and 45 catches. I mean, They only have 900 yards on the ground for the year. So only. That's it. They're going to Flowery Branch going to see pass-heavy team probably like they haven't seen all season.
Since Gainesville.
But Gainesville doesn't throw it like this. That being said,
they did in that game.
Well, that being said, I don't think Flowery Branch is going to make the same mistakes that they made in that Gainesville game. I look for their defense and the secondary of Flowery Branch to really – they're going to make some stops. They're going to start putting pressure. So I'm going to go with the Falcons in this one.
Ooh-wee. There it goes. Got 2 for the Falcons. Flowery Branch, you've got to love the moxie of David Renard.
That kid's got moxie.
He's got moxie. He's one of those.
He has taken some hits in his days, by the way.
Yes,
as the quarterback in Flowery Branch.
Yes, he is one of those that will you to a win, and he did so against Mays last week. With that final drive and some key plays during that game. Flowery Branch, the only thing that really kind of stands in the way is that trip to Perry for them, which is not that terrible, granted, to get down to Perry. Flowery Branch, though, it's going to be hard for me to pick against David Renard and the Falcons. So, what the heck? Go Falcons. Falcons get the win over Perry.
Yeah, I was also given the chance to go down and talk to Coach Ben Hall as well. You talked about, them not seeing a pass-heavy game or a pass-heavy team like this so far. I talked to him. I said, do you think it's going to kind of be a matchup of you two styles with, Renard against their guy and just to see what happens? He goes, well, if we turn it into a foot race, we're in trouble. And I'm going with Flowery Branch in this one. I think they'll pull it together. I think they've got it.
Sweet for Branch.
It's in Perry.
More numbers from Jeff.
No, I'm just saying Perry has never had a 10-win season until this season. So Perry's never really been here. So that's another reason I think Flowery Branch might have a little edge in this one, actually.
Is the fair going on down there? Isn't that the home of the Georgia something fairgrounds?
Oh, I don't know.
I have no idea.
I haven't been there.
I'm always speeding through there.
Speeding.
Heading to the beach.
Is that the key word, speeding?
Yes, speeding.
Okay.
Speeding. Okay. So what's Jeff Davis's mascot? Anybody know?
Oh,
Yellow Jackets.
Yellow Jackets, yes.
Do the Yeller Jackets have a shot up in Tiger against the King of the Mountains, Rabun County? What say you, Jeff?
I thought you were going to say Gunnar Stockton for a minute. I thought you were just going to go.
He is the king of the mountains. Starting with me?
Yes, Jeff Rowe.
Well, again,
throw those numbers out, Jeff.
Well, this is a lot like Perry. This is Jeff Davis's
and
first...
we'll be right back after these messages.
Oh, shush. Well, I think people like to know this kind of. I
Please
do.
just zoom like straight into Jeff when he's.
I can do that.
You know, I'm going to stop bringing I'm the only one that researches any of these things. You guys
We've
just
only
make
got, like,
these
2
blind
weeks to pick
picks.
'em left,
You-
so I don't think that we're. I
you-
mean,
2 weeks
how,
and-
we
I don't
have
know.
a lot to go.
I'm just saying.
You called it basic research, so
It's basic
let's
research.
go.
Well, you keep interrupting me.
Numbers.
So Jeff
Good
Davis, this is their first 10-win season since 1997.
Numero uno.
But Rabun has the number 1 offense.
Numero uno.
Jeff Davis has the number 1 defense in the entire
Numero
state.
uno.
In the entire state.
There's
They've
a
only
lot of
given up
ones.
54 points. No team in any classification has given up less.
That's
But
less
as
than
we've
Georgia.
seen, I haven't seen a better defense when healthy than Jefferson. I can't for the life of me think that Jeff
But
Davis.
this is Rabun County.
That's what I'm saying. What
Oh.
I'm saying is they still put up 14 points and they had a chance to score more. I can't see Jeff Davis being better than Jefferson. I'm going to go with the Wildcats. They might not score
Yeah, I'm
50, but they're going to win the game.
Yeah, I'm taking Rabun County too in this one. I think Jeff Davis is going to give Rabun County a much tougher game than what they got out of Pace Academy last week. I could see this still being a game, at halftime maybe, but Rabun County is too explosive. It's going to take a special defense to really hold this team down for 4 quarters, like what we saw Jefferson do back in the season opener. I also think this Rabun County offense is a lot better than they were in August. I think if you played that game again now, even if Jefferson were at full strength, I think that game would play out differently. Rabun County has gotten better as the season's gone on. That's in part because of the tough schedule they played. But they went down and played Pierce County on the road and won. They played the defending state champion out of North Carolina, Murphy. They played some good programs in South Carolina. They played Pace Academy. They played Jefferson. So they're ready for these kind of matchups. This is not like in maybe some of the early years of when Rabun County started on this run where you got these later rounds and you wondered, boy, what has Rabun County faced to this point? Are they going to be ready for this? This team is tested. This team is going to be ready for this game. I don't think they're going to panic if this is a tight game at halftime. And I think Rabun County is going to win.
So, I'm not even going to make an explanation here.
Okay.
I've got one sentence.
Which is?
Rabun County rolls, baby.
Oh, butter him
Okay.
up. He
All
needs
right,
some rolls.
There we go.
Yep.
Yeah, you were supposed to bring rolls this
I
week.
was. I realized that. And
What
I was like,
happened?
"Don't say it, Bo. Don't say it." I forgot to get the rolls. We even went to
hungry.
the
Go to
store.
Publix, Yep.
We
I'm
even went to
hungry.
the store.
What you got, Seth?
I got Rabun.
Rabun.
I got Rabun. This team, like we were talking earlier at the Jefferson game, they had some, new pieces that they needed to break in and get in order, and boy, have they done it. They're, once again, just another team in the list of ones in our coverage zone that you count out at your own peril.
So is it Rabun or Rayburn?
Bun, B-U-N, like man.
Rabun.
Rabun.
Because some of the locals call it Rayburn, or is it the locals?
I don't know.
I have a feeling somebody will let us know since I brought it up.
Probably.
Just want to see if they're listening.
Thank
this
you
far
for
in
all
the
those
show.
lovely comments. We're
You
going to
can,
get both. Thank you so
yeah,
much.
just contact Seth Chapman.
I've heard people call it Rayburn, and I
Seth
I'm
can
like,
give you the
where
explanation.
does the R come?
So do you put a hamburger on Burns?
Yeah, I guess you would. I mean, I've burned some hamburger buns before, but no, I don't know.
That's a good one, Caleb. I enjoyed that.
We shall see
Ugh.
if anybody comments on what it is. Okay, let's move down into the GAPS 8-man league. Lanier Christian Academy, who's been scoring like 1,000 gazillion bazillion points this year. They're at Covenant Academy. Jeff, have they not played that? Didn't they play Covenant Academy?
They did not.
They did not. Okay.
They did not. They played 2 common opponents, and LCA outscored those 2 teams 147-8,
Well, that was close.
and Covenant outscored those 2 opponents 128-6.
Holy cow. This game's going to be 150 to 160.
It might, but they're both teams that particularly LCA when they played another really good team that's defensively, they've been held to about 14 to 12. I don't see this in last week LCA won 80-8 and Covenant won 58-18. We're not going to see any games like that. This will probably be more like a 21-14 kind of game or something. But I tell you, I like. I looked at the schedule. Covenant has not really played anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Lanier Christian has played a couple of more teams that were a little bit better than what Covenant has played. I'm going to go with Lanier Christian on the road. This might seem like an upset because Covenant's undefeated, But I tell you, I don't think they've tweaked a few things the Lightning have to kind of cut down on some of the things that hurt them in the 2 games they lost. I think Bruce Miller has got this figured out, and I see Lanier Christian winning this game and going into the Gap state title game next week.
Bo, you go ahead on this one.
I have no clue on this one. LCA's been doing
not very nice things to teams
offensively. Where is Covenant Academy? Isn't that
Macon?
Like
Macon. Another one of those Macon.
It's 1 versus 2. I'm going to go with Covenant Academy this week.
Okay.
Yeah, this is I don't know what to make of this one either, but I'll take LCA on the road.
I knew you were going to do that.
I'm going to agree.
Okay, I'm the only one that picked against LCA. Okay, final pick of the show.
So they know who to send the angry emails to. It's bo.wilson.
Oh, I thought it was Seth.Chapman.
It won't be the first time. Lovejoy at
Listen,
Buford.
Jeff, I take complaints on the 32nd of every month. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay.
Lovejoy at Buford. What you got?
Who wants to start this one?
I'll take it. Buford's defense is nasty. From what I understand, Kel had a couple of wrinkles to throw at him to get those 14 points against Buford last week in that first-round game. I think it's going to take more than some wrinkles for Lovejoy to get 14 points on this Buford defense. And this one, I think the Wolves roll.
I'm going to agree. I haven't seen anybody yet that can, until they meet and maybe meet Lee County, I'm not sure there's anybody that can beat Buford. I'm going to stick with Buford. Nasty is the word you use.
Nasty.
That defense is sick.
Well, you got Region 4 C3, number 3 seed against Buford, who is the number 1 seed. Buford's been rolling all season. Their defense is insane. I'm going to pick Buford.
Love Buford. Love Buford.
Love Buford.
Love Buford.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've got the butter if you've got the bread. The Wolves are going to roll.
Roll.
Yeah.
What kind of rolls do you like?
I like the King's Hawaiian rolls.
Oh, yeah.
Those are pretty good to you.
King's Hawaiian rolls.
Overrated.
Excuse me?
King's Hawaiian rolls are overrated, man.
Then what roll do you go for besides like the traditional Thanksgiving
The jelly
yeast
roll. The Swiss cake roll.
Texas,
the Swiss roll.
Texas Roadhouse rolls all the way with that sweet butter. That's where it's at.
All right,
Okay,
all right.
those are good.
I'll take a step down on that one.
Those are good.
That's a good choice.
Those are good. I used to love when I would go cover the Falcons, and King's Hawaiian was one of their sponsors, and they would have a tent of they're just handing out packs of rolls at the Falcons practice.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
However, are we
Very
basing
nice.
this on just like rolls everywhere or rolls that are readily available to the normal public?
Seth.
We can go to Texas Roadhouse right now and get a basket of them. I mean, I'd say that's
Are you going to be
Yeah,
awake?
but
If
I
we
have
go
to
there, are you
go
going to be
there
awake or are you going to be taking a nap?
And get them and eat them there.
You have to go to the
You have to
grocery
go
store.
get them at the
King's
grocery
Hawaiian.
store.
You don't get them delivered.
Yeah, but that's not like a restaurant. I can go to the grocery store, pick those up, and go. And I can go to
Right.
any grocery store and get those.
You could call in a
You go to
Texas
any
Roadhouse.
Texas Roadhouse and get their rolls.
You could
Fine.
call,
I
look,
see I'm
listen,
on the losing end of this
listen.
argument.
Yes.
We're going to stop
here.
here.
And the show is not sponsored Texas Roadhouse, so if you would take rolls for the sponsorship. Just kidding.
We'll work for
Probably.
Texas
We'll
Roadhouse
work
rolls.
for rolls.
Pay us in rolls, baby.
Yep.
That sweet
Pay us in
butter. Make sure
rolls.
you pack that
We're
sweet butter
cheap.
in with it.
Guys, earlier in the week, we got the news that Heath Webb had stepped down as Gainesville's football coach. Moving on, what do you think about it?
Well, kind of not surprised. Hopefully if he, whatever he's got going on in the future, I would love for him to stay in the area. He's a great guy to work with. He's always accommodating to us in the press. So we'll just have to see where Gainesville heads from here. It's an interesting job. It's a coveted job.
Mm-hmm.
It's also a tough job.
Yep.
So it's really they really need to probably take some stock, take some time, and figure out who is what kind of coach, what kind of personality do they need to fit the program.
Yeah, you hit it on the head, Jeff, when you said that he's been great to work with. When I found out, that was the first thing I reached out to him and told him was that I hope he ends up somewhere local at his next stop so that we can continue to cover him because he has been great to work with.
He's a great guy. He's a great guy.
Our standpoint in the media, great guy. And I think a good football coach. And I'm interested to see what the future holds. I do not think we have seen the last of Heath Webb. coaching in North Georgia, that's for sure. But just as far as Gainesville goes, it's a brand name program. It's going to be one of the probably the most high profile job search in the area in football going forward into this offseason. I'm very interested to see who Gainesville goes after, who they tap for their next coach. It was interesting when Bruce Miller stepped down 4 years ago, and it will be equally interesting now here in 2021.
Yeah, I interviewed Coach Webb before we did the show here, and he says the program is only going up. He also said the facilities they are building, it's going to be that makes it an even more premier job
and attractive,
and a very attractive job. So Coach Webb, always great to work with. I told him, I said, look, man, you got to stay in the area, and he goes, that is the plan. And hopefully he will land somewhere in the area, and we'll get to continue working with him. But,
right.
Coach Webb, if you look at what his plan was, what did he call it, the 100?
Oh, the 100 days
or it was some type of plan that he put in, and they actually
1,000 days.
1,000 days. That's it. Thank you.
And they actually beat the 1,000 days of turning the program around.
They did
of when he picked it up. So Coach Webb, great coach, great guy. He'll land on his feet. And there is one job open, another job that came open in the area, and that actually came open on Monday when Caleb Sorrell stepped down at Lumpkin County.
Oh, we're not alluding anything.
We're not alluding to anything.
You're not giving a little nod, wink, wink, are you, Bo? You're not,
but that's the only job open at this time. At the moment. Now, we still have playoffs going on. We still know that some other jobs could come open. We don't know that they could come open, but they could come open.
Hey,
anything's possible.
Yeah,
anything's possible.
Sometimes we don't get football jobs come open until February.
Yep.
That's right.
Late February. Right. So there's a long way to go in the coaching carousel. We're in the very early stages.
Which is why Gainesville should not – unless they've had somebody in mind for years that, okay, if this person stepped down, we do.
Yeah.
But, you've got plenty of time because there will be other jobs. Other coaches will step down because it happens every year.
It happens.
Yeah, so there's no reason for Gainesville to rush into this. I really think they're kind of at a moment right now, like I said before, to find the right guy to fit the personality of the program and what they're wanting out of the program. Because let's face it, Gainesville now is not Gainesville 10 years ago, and so they need to figure out how they want to move forward and with what kind of coach.
Well, that will be an interesting coaching search. All right, guys, on radio this week, FM 102.9 has that Appleton County Cherokee Bluff game. AM 550 going to head down to Perry with Flowery Branch. We only have 2 games on radio this week. Those 2 games, that is all. Caleb, you've got a full tailgate show. This could be the last full one you do. What's on tap?
Well, we're going to hear from Flowery Branch head coach Ben Hall, Cherokee Bluff head coach Tommy Jones, getting you ready for those 2 matchups on the radio, break down the brackets. And, Bo, we might have a little bit more of this reclassification stuff to talk about when we get on Friday night. So there'll be a lot to cover, and looking forward to the second round of the playoffs.
Should be interesting. All right, guys, that's a wrap for the show today. Check us out on Twitter at WD1 Sports and at Friday Game Night. Also at HartJJ22, at Hutch9473, at Seth_Chap.
Camera. Deadgummit.
Turn that microphone on.
Deadgummit.
Seth has officially set up a new Twitter that he's actually paying attention to.
I
folks.
can set up Twitter, but I can't turn my mic on.
There you go. I'm
Deadgummit.
That sounds about right.
I'm
thanks.
at the Bo Wilson. Also, keyword search on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook. Access WD1 Sports. For the crew, I'm Bo. Enjoy. What is that? Round 2 of the GHSA State Playoffs.